Okay, so Sean Erasmus, rugby coach. Started my coaching at Escort High School.
Geez, no, that's too far back.
It's a hot topic.
Yeah.
Skip.
My name is Mzwaki Nkosi. I am currently employed by the Lions Rugby Company.
Westfall Boys, Glenwood High School, and Paul Boys.
First and foremost, a teacher at Jeppe High School for Boys.
Since 1999, I've attended every single high school Craven Week.
I'm also privileged enough to be the head coach of the Lions Craven Week side.
To explain Craven Week to a guy who's never been there is very difficult.
Its absence this year has been sorely felt.
Yeah, the boys are hurting, not just the Craven Week, also a few school fixtures that's really important to the boys.
What do you say to a young man that's worked his whole life and now something's got in the way of it?
It's been a tough year, it's been a challenging one, and it's one the world wasn't prepared for.
Shouldn't define who you are as a person, an individual, and then a rugby player. You can't change the past, but you can change the future.
The resilience and the character that he's shown all the way up to now was just the start of something special, and he needs to continue with that character and that resilience.
Not everything is lost.
For some kids, playing in the Craven Week is really Everest for them.
Yeah, that's massive.
Its uniqueness in it's not a tournament, but it really is a tournament.
The passion of the parents, the passion of the boys.
One loss, and you're out.
There's no final, but there is an unofficial final. It's one of a kind, and it's well documented that it's one of a kind.
That's what life all about, is the rugby for me.
Janse van Rensburg with the pop pass taken on by Taron. Over the line, what a try. Green. Green. Oh, Simeone, thank you, sir. Take the third one.
Oh, and it's an intercept. Lovely timing by the Lions. Good support. Fantastic stuff. Is he going to make it? Yes, he is. Lovely score by Ndawo.
So, cuts inside, beats one. Moxneman, one to beat. Oh, sensational start from the Golden Lions.
I cut my teeth in scuba rugby, having coached for the better part of 8 years at King Edward VII School, which luckily enough also happens to be my alma mater.
I think just miss the daily vibe with schoolboy rugby. You know, seeing the boys in a classroom environment, spending time with them on the field doing PT or whatever else, and then experiencing sort of the whole life with the youngster. It's really hard to take out just specific things, because I always tell people, you know, I think the victories is probably the least that I remember. I remember the great times we had on tour and the development of each youngster, the way that a youngster comes to you really raw, keen to learn, changes the way that he thinks about the game, becomes more about us than about himself. And then through that, something special sort of starts within the team, you know, and the way that we drove the culture within the team.
The kids are spoiled. Well, when I say sport, is that South Africans love rugby. And by the numbers, they'll tell you more so schoolboy rugby.
A jam-packed crowd, as you can see around us here at Jeppe. I'm sure everybody looking forward to a really exciting game of rugby.
There are thousands. Those kids, when you walk into your school's first team, it is packed. I don't care however small your school is. I don't care how big your school is. The numbers are all relative to that school. And on a Saturday in this country, there's rugby being played somewhere. And it's packed to the rafters in front of tens of thousands of people. Some of them will never play in front of those crowds, ever. And some, as you're saying, when they go finish under 18, they go for a long time until they hit Super Rugby, maybe, when they start seeing those big numbers again. So from 18 until 22, 23, maybe, they'll never get to see those big numbers.
What schools have done, more and more schools, they've recruited what they perceive as talented players to increase their talent pool and their talent base. Schools have appointed strength and conditioning coaches. So the strength and conditioning part, the nutrition part has had a whole lot of more attention than it probably had a number of years ago. People that coach Currie Cup are now coaching at schools, so they bring in expertise. They're not teachers per se, So their salaries are based on how successful the rugby team and the rugby program of the school is. So they've upped that tremendously. And when I started teaching, you know, the expectation was you coach sport. So in the winter, I coached rugby, moved on to Dale Junior School, Dale College Boys Primary in the Eastern Cape, and coached rugby there and loved every minute of it, and coached with fantastic other coaches, and then went on to the high school and coached the first side there, and then moved up to Johannesburg. At the Lions, I was involved with probably 7 years here with the Craven Week group, and at board I think 3 or 4 years, and then a couple of years with the junior Craven Week under 13 as well. The
History of the Craven Week is obviously, you know, well documented in terms of it being the premier schoolboy rugby competition in the country. It's incredible in the platform it provides for kids.
Esterhuizen. Lions, as you saw, getting much more ball. Hadebi with a step again. Now he's got support inside from Morawani. This could be a score for Esterhuizen. Another little step. Can he get over? Yes, he can!
How it's transformed is a real credit to the South African game. It's one of the things that not many countries can boast, having, you know, a tournament or a festival of rugby such as the Craven Week.
Always dream about it as a young boy, being part of Craven Week, and now I never had that opportunity as a player, and now as a coach, you were part of this huge setup. And I remember the first night was probably the most daunting for me, is walking in that first night when you have your capping and all the coaches are there, and sort of the opening speech, the opening evening. And I just looked around the table and just said to myself, you know, this is it now. This is the sort of pinnacle schoolboy rugby at the moment where you are. Because everybody that's there, they don't want to lose anything. You know, they want to win. They want to win for their province and hopefully get SA Schools acknowledgement from there.
Yeah, I've been fortunate in terms of being involved in the Craven Week and the players that have, I wouldn't say come through my hands, but had the privilege to be involved with. You know, if I go through the schools, Monument really produced quality forward packs.
Kenty offload is superb, and Isaac Esterhuizen strikes back. Try after try after try in this first half.
I had Coach Mzwaki both years of Craven Week, brilliant defensive coach. He takes you on, so you have to listen to his advice. Although he's hard on you, you just take it in, you keep quiet, and you work on that when you go home. Craven Week was great. Having to experience that at high quality rugby, to step up from school rugby, building relationships, especially getting to do with other coaches, learning from them and adding that to your game, overall just makes you a better rugby player.
If you have a look on our honours boards, we produced about 350 under 18 or high school Craven players for the Transvaal and Lions. So all of those boys must have been special. And then we can go right through to Henk van Wyk last year, and Zaan Esterhuizen. He also is going to play big rugby.
We had a proper pack in 2018. I think there was like 7, and then 1 in the back line. So overall, I'm guessing 8. Thank you being in the back line in 2018. And then 2019, we were a bit fewer. I think we were just 3 Monas in the Craven Week side.
Got quite a senior squad in our school side. We've got, I think, in the starting lineup against Paul Boys, we had 12 matrics and 3 grade 11s. So yeah, it's quite a senior team, and I think it must be disappointing, but we've also got a good crop of grade 11 players that's coming through. So for 2021, we're looking forward to it, but let's see, maybe we can have a game or 2 still. If the COVID subsides in time.
Done very well to hold on to that ball because the Monash players got themselves in between. And this time it's just a reversal. Number 6 for Monument, Reinhard Mouton, in over that ball beautifully and quickly. And Andries, he's a strong player.
I think it's the passion and the pride. If I can use the Afrikaans word, die trots en die tradisie, that's very important here at Monash. Yes, the boys, when they go put on that white jersey, especially when they run into the Ras van Rooyen field, we talk about Monash guts. There's something happened to the boys and they just give everything.
In the West Rand, it's not the nicest place to be. It's not like next to the sea or where it's quite nice and the mountains around you, but there's something special about Monash. And that Monos Guts is something that I can allude to. Just something that the boys, when they get into the white jersey, as they play and they go about it, yeah, it's just something special.
This guy is an animal, Reinhard Pluton.
When I came to Joburg, and I say this with the greatest respect, is the Craven Week sides were probably dominated by Monument, and they had fantastic players, so they probably had a right to dominate it. And with the emergence of King Edward as a power in Johannesburg, a lot more English schools and English boys were selected for those sides. In fact, in my first year at King Edward, boys didn't even want to go to trials. They weren't interested. Wandile Mjikev, I think, was the only guy that expressed an interest. And that changed. And the young Afrikaans boy was now playing with a young English boy. And I think the boys walked away from the Craven Week experience, not only as better rugby players, but as better people. Young boys from Parktown and St. John's and St. Stithian suddenly thought, wow, we got a chance. We can also play provincial rugby, because if the King Edward boys doing it, Jeppy boys, we can also go there. And I think that was a resurgence under guys like Wynand Moorman, Gully Gous, that suddenly the Lions became a force at Craven Week again, which was really exciting.
What a strike! What a strike, considering the ball had fallen down moments before. Kennedy a pick.
I was really fortunate to have had a guy like Cole Spillaus coach me and then become a mentor for me from a coaching perspective.
Cole Spillaus was a major influence in my rugby career, allowing me to play first team in grade 10, giving me the opportunity to train with the first side.
Cole Spillaus is one of those coaches who I would rank in the likes, in the categories of the Paul Anthonys, the Basil Bays from Bishops, guys who served schoolboy rugby their whole lives without the lure of senior pro rugby, and they were happy to serve at that level. And I think that's what, distinguishes him from a whole variety of other coaches or educators. But what people don't realize is so many assistant coaches who worked under him became head coaches and senior pro coaches, etc., in their own right, by the virtue of the platform created by Cole.
I was always struck by specifically two guys who were still playing, and that was Zwaki Nkosi and Sene Esterhuizen. They would regularly come and discuss with me privately certain plays, certain coaching philosophies. So it was no surprise to me that they went on to coach.
I've been with Zwaki Nkosi since grade 5, actually. It's been a really long road, having gone up through the ranks with him, especially him coaching me now at the Lions for the last, I think, 3 years. So, not grade 8, but grade 7, I was at Keps, the primary school, and Malcolm Marks, Kyle Brink, and Dill Smith were all playing for the Reds that year. So, as a grade 7, after your game, you go across and you're watching those three guys. And that was a really special Reds year as well, those three guys playing for Cares. And it was really cool to then be able to join them 5 years later at the Lions and be underneath them, learning from them.
I don't think many people need to question who they are. King Edward is. It's a very good, strong all-boy rugby school. I wouldn't say that we ever believed that we were in the top 20. But when Carl Spillaus arrived, he was like adamant that we needed to be in that league and competing with the best of the best. So he kind of put the program together to drive us. And in terms of picking up Affies again, and it was not easy. There was a plan in place. There were some serious tough learning lessons in the process under Spillaus. And then when he left, Zwaki Nkosi took over, and 2019 managed to beat Affies.
I was really privileged to have attended King Edward to start off with. Wow, what an amazing institution, just in terms of the ethos, the culture, which has evolved and developed over the years. And I think it's an institution and become an organization for all and sundry, to be honest. But the one thing that sticks with me is the oak trees, the slanted rugby field, the stories,
There were some tough times, but there were some players that really stood out.
Ball won by King Edward. Engelbrecht is good on the distribution. Marks running very strongly. The former flank forward now turned hooker.
When you look at someone like Malcolm Marks, the dedication, and I think there's an under-14 kid He was always big, but he was never selfish. He was always caring about the person next to him.
Just his skill for such a big guy to be able to do the things that he could do on a field was just incredible. Like, not many guys who are his size have the skill set that he has, and like the passing ability and the ball carrying.
And I'll never forget watching him playing a game against DHS, and Malcolm went up the blind side, and he had this little small fullback in front of him, and he probably could have bulldozed it over the top of this guy, but he passed. So he had wonderful skills.
The dedication that he took from as a grade 10 who played 8th man and moving into a hooker position, where he had to spend hours learning how to throw, and the dedication and the belief that he had, that a coach saw something in him and wanted to go with it and didn't question it. I think for me that's what stood out.
Our provincial, our trial teams play against the Bulls trial teams, and Malcolm couldn't make what was to be the Craven Week side, so he was sort of in the B side. And I'll never forget sitting next to a very good friend of mine called Paul Anthony, and he said, Heineke Meyer reckons that Malcolm could become a Springbok. Malcolm was in grade 11. In 5 years' time, he could be a Springbok as a hooker. So that, it sort of, got our interest going, and here was Heineke was a Super Rugby coach, particularly successful with the Bulls, and if he identifies talent, then surely there's got to be something to it. And we posed him the question to say, would he consider becoming a hooker? And to Malcolm's credit, at no point in time did he question. He just wanted to know, the reason behind it. And we said we'd done a bit of research. And he said, that's fine, he'll give it a go. That's the type of guy Malcolm was at school. That's fine, sir. I'll give it a try. And that's it. And off he went, and he played. And many people said, we're absolutely mad. We do this kid a disservice. But thank goodness it worked out. And he played SA Schools that year, and off he went. Yeah. My last year at King Edward, we were comfortably beaten by JP, and they had 3 absolutely fantastic rugby players in their side. Hachiva Diamani, Tyron Green, Wandasile Similani, and I was extremely lucky to have had a chance to work with them at Craven Week level. So when I got to JP, it certainly wasn't my doing. The program was set in, was in place already. We changed and tweaked 1 or 2 small things, but as a whole, the rugby program was up and running, and I could just slot in seamlessly.
My name is Muzi Manyike. I played for JP Boys, and I enjoyed it. The school is amazing. Loved every single second of it, and what's left now is memories and experience, and every time I visit the school, I can still feel the energy over there. It's beautiful.
Craven Week, JP, 10, 11 guys in the Craven Week side. I'm not sure that's ever happened before, and certainly the most from any school.
Definitely. This year, because we have a good season as JP Boys, a lot of us got chosen for the Craven Week, and it's good that we have that experience. The boys are used to that Craven Week rugby, the high tempo, so they can bring it here for the JP side. But I'm very proud of the boys for making a name for the school and making a name for themselves. It's a very good achievement for every single boy that made it, also including the XV side and the C team side for the Lions. We have a few boys there.
Nice interplay between the backs and the forwards. Fantastic handling. There's a captain, Maike, once more. My goodness. Once again, it's a man that delivers, the captain himself.
Moketi. This is Tatsane. Off to Manyike. Manyike! Over the line in the corner! Get a lot of that! What a good step. When was the last time you saw it?
Muzi Manyike, apart from being a very gifted rugby player, was a fantastic leader. That game that we speak about when we lost to Affies, we just have a simple ritual amongst the boys that, we tied up the dressing room on a Saturday afternoon after the game. And probably 2 or 3 hours after the game, the headmaster, I suppose who was as gutted as the rest of us were, took a walk around the campus, and he walked past the first team dressing room and the door was still open. And there was Muzi tidying up. He was probably 30 seconds away from being the first captain to beat Affies. And there a guy was tidying up the dressing room. And his words to the headmaster was, wow, it's a tough day, but you know, that's how it is. And that for me was Muzi Manyiki, very, very humble guy. You know, he didn't talk much, you know, he wasn't that rah-rah guy, just led by example and actions.
Sibusiso Nkosi is definitely someone that I look up to, especially because he was also a JP boy. He was my matric when I was in grade 8. So I got the opportunity to observe the man working in the gym, and being this little grade 8 boy looking at someone pursue a dream like that, I definitely have to do it too. If someone that I'm observing is doing it, then I definitely have the opportunity and the skills.
Huge hit coming with Cupido. Referees are outbound. Here goes Nkosi. It's opening up for him. Oh my word, the collisions.
Flinging it out on the right to Nkosi. That's a good break. This is better from the Lions. What a good start. Handed ball to Faria out on the right to Nkosi. And oh, it's going to be a close one.
See, he has been strong every time he's carried the ball. He deserves that try.
At JP, Wandisile Simulani, Tyron Green, Achieve Jaman. I think those guys were exceptional, and just as a group of individuals and as players, but just who worked hard, who really, really worked hard. And then obviously Wandisile Simulani, he's oozing talent. He's the next best thing, I think.
Similani. It's a very difficult man to stop when he gets into full flight.
Green. Oh, Simeone, thank you, sir. Take the third one.
Combo. It's his knee. Maybe consensus going Van Rooyen with the quick ball to the right wing where Carey.
Simeone, little Q-stick. Is it Captain Power? Yes, sir. Double, it's the praise for the young man.
Move across to help Makar, the David Carey's of the world, Mark Sneeman, who's unbelievably talented. I think the world or the country hasn't seen yet what he's got to offer, but when that time comes, I think he's really going to be a sight to behold.
He was fantastic. I remember the game, our first game against Borden, and I think being the host, we were a little bit nervous and things didn't really go all that well. And he tackled their fly half in possession. And he lost the ball and we scored from that, and that took us away as well. That was a guy, Mark Sneeman, determined. Nothing was too much of an issue for him. You know, he could achieve anything.
In the air.
So the revival of Help Makar has been very, very important to the Golden Lions rugby. There's rich findings in Help Makar. They've got very, very gifted athletes, very well coached boys, young guys that you can work with that will listen and prepare to work.
St. Stephen's have produced the likes of Innocent Khatebe, who's really good. He's as good as they came in terms of what schoolboys could give you.
If there was a player who could carry a team, there was the guy.
Innocent Khatebe, made from St. Stephen's.
Now, here's the lad who's impressed us, Innocent Khatebe. Oh, look at them.
I remember he was injured during the Cares Saints game, within 10 minutes into the game, but he finished the whole match, and he carried them. He kept them in the reach of the score with his long-range kicks and the way he dictated. He was just an unbelievable player.
He wanted the ball in his hands. He thrived on being the fulcrum of the team. He thrived on driving the team forward. He thrived on being the player who would make them game-winning moment. He was so talented. He took time with the ball. He could kick off either foot. He could really defend. He played flat to the line when he wanted to. And he didn't play in a team that really had stars. And he was willing to wear that tag. And there aren't many players who wear that tag comfortably and thrive on wearing that tag of being the main guy in the team.
By the time your opportunity comes around, you'll be ready for it and you'll be able to take it with both hands. So just keep working hard, just keep prepping. Because it might not be when you're under 19, it could be when you're 22, 23. But when the opportunity comes, take it, and there are many ways to the top, so just keep working.
I know it's tough this year, not being able to play Craven week, but tomorrow the sun will come up. Work hard, stay humble, and keep driving. As soon as you get your chance, be ready for it. grab it with 2 hands and never look back.
Taylor. Oh, that's gone horribly wrong, and now there's a big opportunity for Maguranyanga. Maguranyanga right underneath the posts. Oh, welcome to Wakanda. Here on the blind side and trying to stretch away is Joseph Pierre. The ball back on the inside is to Klome. Klome gets past his man. Klome under the bar. Moketi, Robenheimer, short ball, easy as you like, Salengbe. Away it is from Halat. They're playing it flat. Oh, that is beautiful.
3 committing to him. Open channel chosen by Van Wyk, the captain.
High expectations from this 2020 group.
The opportunity came, I couldn't say no.
On their day, you don't want to catch them on their day because they'll take you apart.
Once again, Richardson on the wraparound and Jonker gets it wide.
Enjoy the journey. That's what it's taught me.